Ahead on KGW News at noon, 2 people are in the hospital after being shot in Oldtown over the weekend. An incident that has some who work in the area on edge. Plus, new study shows just how many Americans are concerned about rising prices at the grocery store. And later,
I saw the black car and I thought my life was over.
A woman in Salem left feeling helpless after the driver of the car who hit her took off. But the owner of the car told police and why no one's been arrested. But first, 1 person is dead and 2 others sent to the hospital after 3 separate crashes across Portland in less than 24 hours. Your news at noon starts right now. Our top story here at noon, a single car crash early this morning sent the driver to the hospital. This is video from the scene of the crash. It shows the white Toyota truck flipped on its side. Police didn't say what led up to the crash. The driver suffered serious injuries. Thank you for joining us here on the news at noon. I'm China Green. Now, that crash followed 2 overnight incidents where 2 pedestrians were hit in separate crashes. 1 of them died. The first crash happened at 11:20 last night at Northwest Yawn and 44th Avenue. Officers arrived. They found a pedestrian seriously injured. Paramedics transported that pedestrian to a nearby hospital where they later died. Police say the driver involved remained at the scene and is cooperating with police. About an hour before that, Portland police responded to another car crash in southeast Portland. On Southeast 122nd and Ash, a pedestrian was hit by a vehicle. Paramedics transported them to a nearby hospital with life-threatening injuries. The driver in that investigation also remained on scene and is cooperating with police. Ahead on KGW News at 4, our Celine Stevens will have more on the overall trend of crashes in Portland as we pass the midway point in the 100 deadliest days of summer. Well, we have some good news for fans of an iconic Northwest Portland steakhouse. After being shut down for roughly 3 months, Ringside Steakhouse on West Burnside is set to reopen this afternoon. Back in April, the 81-year-old establishment was shut down after a fire broke out in the kitchen. Ringside is set to reopen at 4:30 this afternoon, but make sure to double check their availability before stopping by. Our Joey Neary will be live outside Ringside as it opens this afternoon on KGW News at 4:30. Headed over to Rod Hill now for a look at weather.
Hi, everybody. It's interesting. We look at the visible satellite picture here at noon, China, and there's an opening right over downtown Portland. And I looked out my window, which is right here, and I'm like, yeah, we're getting some sun. But much of the area is still cloudy. And if you look at that, what are the odds of this opening staying open, meaning we see increasing sun versus the clouds coming back down from the north and covering it up? So it's kind of tough to tell how soon we're going to see significant widespread clearing or not. Certainly so far at noon, it's been a gradual process. There's no rain under any of these clouds. The sun will warm us up. The cloudiness will, of course, keep our temperature stifled a little bit. We're at 58 degrees in Lincoln City. Calm winds at the beach. Salem, mostly cloudy still, 68 degrees. And there's downtown showing some blue sky over a big pink there. 67 is the number. So assuming we break out and get some decent sun, we'll warm up to about 76 degrees. Now stick around because on my complete longer forecast coming up, this is potential rainfall Wednesday. Could we actually get some decent, soaking, beneficial rain this time of the year? It's hard to come by. My complete forecast up in just a bit, China.
Rod, thank you. Here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. A new poll from the Associated Press shows the cost of groceries are still a big stressor for many Americans. According to the poll, more than 75% of Americans say grocery prices are a main source of stress. The most cited reason for concern over prices were prices continuing to rise and President Trump's looming tariff threats. Alaska Airlines is adding 7 new routes across the Pacific Northwest and California. That includes nonstop routes between the Hollywood Burbank Airport and 2 Oregon cities, Eugene and Redmond. The new routes are set to begin in late October. More patients under the age of 50 are being diagnosed with colon cancer. New research suggests an increase in the number of people getting screened. It may be tied to many of the recent diagnoses, but does not explain the overall trend. In recent years, the American Cancer Society has lowered the recommended screening age from 50 to 45. The group says multiple investigations looking into everything from microplastics to ultra-processed foods as potential drivers are ongoing. And at least 2 people are dead and 6 others injured in an overnight shooting after a Los Angeles party. According to the police department there, officers had shut the warehouse party down hours before the shots were fired. The police chief said one person was arrested. The investigation is ongoing. And those are a look at your national headlines. Closer to home, Portland police are investigating a shooting in Oldtown over the weekend that sent 2 people to the hospital with serious injuries. This happened early Sunday around 2:30 in the morning at Northwest 4th and Cooch. KGW's Jake Holter brings us more from Oldtown.
Gunshots rang out early Sunday morning after an Oldtown bar closed. Police say the shots came from a crowd of around 100 people in a parking lot. 2 victims were found on scene, a male and a female. But when officers tried to help them, they say around 50 people tried to push past them, quote, significantly outnumbering them.
It is really, really unfortunate, and I wish that the 2 people are going to be okay.
James lives in Oldtown and works at Charlie's Deli, right near where the shooting took place.
I don't want to lie and say that I haven't noticed the uptick in violence in the city the last couple years. It's definitely there, but I feel like it's all over the city and honestly all over America.
He says while incidents like this are scary, it hasn't deterred him from Oldtown.
I personally feel safe, and I don't feel like incidents like this happen every single day or too often to where it should keep people away from downtown.
Both victims were taken to Legacy Emmanuel Hospital, where officers responded to a lockdown after a couple dozen people were trying to get into the emergency room and acting, quote, hostile towards hospital security officers. Police say the man's injuries are critical and the woman's are believed to be non-life-threatening.
That was Jake Holter reporting. It's still unclear what led up to the shooting, but detectives are asking anyone with information or evidence to come forward. Protesters upset about President Trump's policies marched through downtown Portland Saturday. A small group started gathering around noon at Waterfront Park for a Rage Against the Regime rally. It was part of a series of protests across the country over the weekend against the Trump administration.
I don't like that he's having ICE agents with masks just rounding people up. So that's not America. We need to stop that. Go back to the way we used to be.
This weekend's protests downtown remain peaceful. And amid criticism of the Trump administration and its policies, Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley says the Democratic Party lacks a coherent plan, but they have a core vision. Democrats have faced criticism from outside and within the party, especially after Donald Trump was reelected. Our Stephanie Domerat sat down with Senator Merkley this week for Straight Talk. During their conversation, she asked him to describe how he sees the state of the party right now.
And people say, don't the Democrats have a coherent plan? And the answer is no, it doesn't work like that. I think Will Rogers said he was not a member of any organized party. He was a Democrat. And that's kind of the situation we're in, where if you have 10 of us in a room, you're going to get 10 visions. But I tell you, there is a core to that vision.
In their conversation, they also discussed the impacts of President Donald Trump's tariffs and an effort by Merkley to force the release of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein. You can watch the full episode of Straight Talk tonight at 7 or anytime on our free TV app, KGW+.